Hi there, I'm now joined today by Emma Nicolet, someone who I'm sure many commuters in the Eastern region are familiar with. For those of you who might not instantly recognise her face, I'm sure you'll recognise her voice. Emma was one half of the duo of Ivan and Emma from Hertford County's breakfast radio show, who up until last month was keeping us entertained with gossip and travel news.
Yeah, a bit of bants.
Always good.
And lots of rubbish as well.
Well, good morning and thank you for joining us, Emma.
Thank you for having me.
For anyone who wasn't fortunate enough to listen to you on the radio,
Yeah.
tell us a little bit about yourself, just so we've got an idea of your
Oh
background.
God, it's always the worst question. That's like when someone asks you that. Oh.
Starting a new job, like, tell us about
Okay.
yourself.
Oh no, you asked me to sell myself. All right. So Ivan and I, we piloted to do the breakfast show a few years back. Got on like a house on fire, and they decided that we should be the kind of fresh young talent to take over. And neither of us had ever done anything like it before. It was our first foray into radio, and it's been brilliant. It's been amazing. Music changed over the time. It went from 80s to a bit more 90s. I love both, so winner. And we just got to have a lot of banter as well. It's like working with my best mate. Still is.
We did notice that listening to the show. It's
Did
like, it just
you?
came across as very natural and very
Oh
funny.
God, it's such a touch. I can't believe we did that together. Honestly, great.
I do have to ask though, what is it you and Ivan are doing now since leaving?
Well,
we want to keep up with you still.
It's funny you should ask, Simon. We're working on a podcast together. I can't say too much about it
Okay.
because it's still in recording, editing stages. But if you follow either of us on Instagram, you'll keep up with the news.
So watch this space, basically.
Watch this space.
Now, we're predominantly a commuter group, and one of the things that we've noticed is you live down here in London, you used to have to commute all the way to Milton Keynes to do the Heart Breakfast show.
Yes, I did. It was probably the worst part of the job, if I'm honest with you. Getting up at 3:15 in the morning. Ivan didn't have to get up so early, and he was commuting from Surrey. But he didn't have to put this on, you know what I mean?
This is true, yeah.
I've got a face for radio, but you know, these days they've got cameras everywhere, so I've got to put some slap on. So I would get up about 3:15, maybe have a few hits on the snooze button, and then probably be out the door by 4:15 to be at the studio for around 5. Fine on the way in, drive down the motorway. You know, I said M25, M1, no cars, about an hour it would take me. Put my tunes on. You know, maybe make a phone call to my sister in America. It was all right actually. The way back, different story. So it was awful. It was awful. Just sitting on the M25, just like a car park. I know everyone says it, but and then you've got the speed restrictions, and I mean, I've had 2 children. My bladder isn't what it used to be. I mean, you know, I don't want to stop at a service station. That's another 20 minutes onto my journey. Then there's the tiredness because you've been up early, and I've got 2 children as well that I look after once I get home, and it all starts again the next day. So yeah, it was the worst part of the job, to the point that I was looking to move closer to Milton Keynes just to take the stress out of it, because I couldn't get the train in the morning. It was too early to get the train. There was no
That's
option.
my next question. So you obviously feel the pain of the commute.
Yeah.
Your default option there would be the car.
Yeah.
I'm guessing from what you said, purely because that was the only option available for
Yeah.
you.
Yeah, because generally, to get somewhere like Milton Keynes, you think it would be quicker on the train. I know with mine, I looked into it, and I had to go into central London to go up to Milton Keynes. So it wasn't the easiest of journeys, but to be honest, like anyone who's watching who's got children will back me up on this. Going to work sometimes feels like a bit of a holiday rather than like having the kids. So sitting on the train, and bearing in mind if I was going really early as well before the commuters hit, I could sit there with my laptop, I could read a magazine. I can't remember the last time I read a magazine, do you know what I mean? And that there were lots of perks than me thinking, oh, I can have a nice commute on the train. And coming back as well, I probably hit the train at a time where it was quiet too. But I couldn't do it on the way there because of the hours, so I had to drive, and I can't leave my car in Milton Keynes. I've got to come back the next morning.
Yeah.
So yeah, I was a bit screwed when it came to that option.
Okay, so, but generally though, is the car your favourite form of transport? What is it you like about your car?
It's an extension of my house, including all the McDonald's wrappers and the dried raisins in the car seat, and the fact that I've got all my tunes and I can speak to my mates, on speakerphone, and there's a lot of things I like about it. Plus, I know who sat in those seats.
This is true.
I know how clean they are. Hygiene reasons. I don't have to wash them every time get up.
As a train commute, we tend not to think about that. You sit down and ignorance is very much bliss.
Can you imagine taking one of those blue lights on? You're like, how clean is your house? You know, when they put that on, or they put it into like a petri dish, whatever you call them. Oh.
That's why, little known fact for you, that's why train seats and bus seats are patterned the way they are, to just hide all of that yuckiness. Anyway, what we did here at ABC, we decided we thought we'd help you out.
Thanks.
We had a look at your journey to see, is it possible? What's the best way for you to do it?
On public transport, if it's
Both
possible.
ways, yeah.
Alright, okay.
Now, we did it in the car. We said I think it takes about 55 miles each way. Matches what you said, about an hour and 15 minutes. We used journeyprice.co.uk, nice little plug there. Now what that will do is tell you what your fuel consumption is, your average speed, and work out how it's saying me £10.92 per day for the round trip, just on your fuel costs.
Yeah. Mine was a bit higher than that.
Okay.
Probably because I was driving at the maximum legal speed limit all the way there in the morning.
If we then add in a conservative effort for your tax and insurance, now it can range vastly, so don't quote me on this. I've worked out about £400 a year as an average. So breaking that down, I'm not doing the maths in my head here, I've cheating got it all here. It's £7.60 per week, or for a nice even figure, £1.10 a day. So if we add that onto your fuel, that's £12 a day that it will cost you in your tax, your insurance. The other thing, I don't know what parking was like, but just to be fair, we tried to add the parking costs in. Now Milton Keynes does vary. Throughout the day, it's anywhere between 50p to £2 an hour, or they'll do whole day parking for about £10 for the day. I know you were getting there early in the morning, so parking maybe wouldn't count at some time. But what we've done, we've added £10 on for parking.
Okay.
So we're now up to £22 a day to drive there, petrol, insurance, tax, parking. Now the next thing that's going to be a little bit, again, it's a very, very wild estimate here, but car costs.
Yeah.
Depending on what car you've got, how much you pay, I mean, if you're someone that really likes a nice badge on your car, it can cost a lot more. What I've done is a friend of mine called Enzo, following to get a car off him. He runs the Ford flagship store in North London. Again, this is all about the plugs here. And Enzo's told me he'd do me a good deal on a Fiesta.
About me, I'm in the video too. Does that mean I get a good deal too?
Emma, if you want to come down and see Enzo, I mean, he's a lot of hard work, but by all means, go and see him.
So am I. This could really be difficult.
I'll have to hook the two of you up and you can meet him at Meeting of the Ease. Well, he said for a 2009 Ford Fiesta, if we look on their website, about £3,500 that would cost for a used car. Now, if we break that down, £85 a month on finance. Again, daily estimate, I've worked this out beforehand, even though I am good at maths. £2.83 a day that costs. So for a basic car, £2.83 a day, plus the £22 we've already said, we're looking at flat cost £25 a day to get you to Milton Keynes and back every day. Nothing else added on there.
I mean, that's not even stopping for food or anything like
No.
that. Right.
But that's just so you've got a basic idea. We're going to say £25 a day. You're doing, how many did you say, 110 miles. So that works out, with about 3 hours there and back, £8.30 for every hour you're in the car, and you get about 36 miles an hour out of that. So your travel and your cost ratio isn't as bad as you think it would be in the car. Shall we see if we can get you there cheaper on public transport?
I mean, I don't know if you can even get me there on public transport. I can't see how it's possible.
Well, do you know what? I had a look, and you need to get there for 5 in the morning, don't you? Well, the first train out of London that gets you to Milton Keynes is at 5:30. That gets you there for 6:13, which is 13 minutes after the breakfast show starts.
Yeah.
So that's not going to be much good for you.
That's the one out of the one that goes to Euston.
That is.
Right, but I've got to get to Euston.
Oh yeah, we haven't even covered that yet.
Okay.
Now, we have some confusing elements because if you did choose to get that train, not that you would, you can get a Virgin train, which is £33.60, or you can get an anytime ticket. Here's one I made earlier. That would be £42.60. So you've got to decide what ticket you
Is that
want.
for the return journey or the?
That's for the return.
Right, okay.
That's just for the train
Wow.
that gets you into work late.
Has I been doing the breakfast show solo for the first 15 minutes? Okay, you'd love that.
So what I've done, I thought, what if we leave Euston a smidge earlier?
Okay.
Now, there is a train before the 5:27, it's technically yesterday's train. That leaves Euston at 1:34 in the morning and get you at Milton Keynes for 2:30.
Okay.
So you're a couple of hours early for work.
Yeah.
Now, this is where it gets a bit confusing because we can get you a train there,
Yeah.
but because it's yesterday's train, you can't get a return ticket.
Okay.
You've got to get a ticket one way and a separate ticket back. So if
Yeah.
you try leaving Euston a smidge earlier, we can get you the train the night before technically. It leaves at 1:34 in the morning and gets you into Milton Keynes for 2:37. So you're a couple of hours early for work,
Yeah.
but no fear you're going to be
I've
late
had
at all.
2 hours sleep. What more do I need?
Now, first of all, we've got to get you to Euston.
Okay.
It's only 3 different buses to get you from London over to mainline Euston. The advantage here is though, you can use the Oyster card,
Yeah.
so it's only a £1.50 cost, and that will get you all the way to Euston on as many buses as you need, because of Transport for London does this lovely little hopper thing. That's still 3 different buses.
Yeah.
So if I can get £1.50 straight away, there's your bus ticket.
Okay, that's quite good value.
Now, once we're at Euston, you need to get a single, and because it's the day before, you can't get a return. You have to get one single one day
Yeah.
and a return coming back. Your first single will be £14.90 to Milton Keynes.
Right. Okay. Do you need
So
to
I
do
need
on that now?
I've now £15 off you.
Blimey.
It's clocking up already.
Rinsing me out here. Here we go.
Thank you. Now, want to hear something funny? Getting the train back the other way,
Yeah.
do you think that's going to cost the same amount?
No, because you're going into London. It's going to be more expensive, right?
Yeah, doing the same journey
Yeah.
in reverse, it's 30p more, 15.20.
Okay.
So if I can get another 15,
Jeepers. 15.20, did you say?
yeah, I'll take 15.
You
We'll
take
forget about
thanks.
what's
Oh,
20
no, give
between
me a
friends.
discount.
We get another ticket.
Thanks. Gosh.
So we are now in Milton Keynes and it's 2:37 in the morning. Sadly, there aren't any buses that will get you to Park Radio Station at that
No.
time of the morning.
I'm not walking.
Well,
Not a
we thought
lady
about
on my
that.
own.
What if it's raining? It's not really ideal. You'd need to use Skyline cabs. So
I'm
about
familiar.
£5.
Skyline taxis. Thank you very much. Wow. Hemorrhaging cash.
£5.
What? Oh my lord. Okay, there we go.
Thank you. So, just to recap, we have got leaving your house at midnight, 3 London buses, 1 train, and a cab.
I'm starving, by the way. Just so you know at this point, I'm going to be really hungry. I hope you're like going to leave me some money for food.
Let's hope. What have we got here? Your journey thus far, 10, 20, 35, 36.50. Now, if you want to get the cab back to the station on the way back,
Yeah.
that's another £5.
Gosh,
Do you have any money left?
I mean, I do, but don't let me break this 20, please. How much have I got? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5. Oh, here we go. At least leave me some money for penny sweets.
It's another Skyline receipt.
Thank you. Skyline taxi.
So, we're there. Oh, and you also do need to do another 150 for the buses to get you home once you're in Euston.
Mate! Oh no, now we're going to have to break this 20.
Just give
I
us-
know you've got
that's-
change. Yeah, I'll just give you a
I'll
pound.
sell for £1.
I'll owe you.
I mean, what have we got here? We're talking about £40. That's 1 day's return journey.
I mean, you're going to go into work in a great mood, aren't you? Knowing that you've already got rid of all of that cash.
And you've got 2 hours to mull it over when you work because you're nice and early.
To get really annoyed about it. Oh God.
So that's not working for you, is it?
It's not really. I'm not going to lie, Simon. No.
Let's try a different way. So if I give you... You've got all of that back.
Thank you.
Right. Let's try the coach this time.
Oh, a coach.
This is a little bit better for you, I say unfortunately. Fortunately.
Positively, yeah. Go on.
However, unfortunately, you still need to be leaving your house at 1:45 in the morning.
Okay.
This will only take 2 buses,
Yeah.
so £1.50 again for your Oyster.
There we go.
Thank you. Now, you need to get to Victoria Station and catch the National Express coach at
Yeah.
2 o'clock in the morning.
Lovely. Sounds glorious.
Now, National Express, pretty good, £6.80.
Oh, bargain
Cheaper
after
than you
what we've
thought.
been through. I mean, okay, £6.80. I'm going to just give you £2 because I think I
7,
need
that's
some.
good.
Yeah.
Thank you.
£7, yeah.
Now, this will get you to Milton Keynes at 3:20 in the morning.
Super duper.
Still early. However,
Did it take me right up to the door of the studio?
no.
What a surprise.
Have you ever seen the Milton Keynes coachway?
No.
That's right next to the M1.
What?
It's kind of away from the city centre, the railway station, the bus station. Do you know, it's away from just about everything. It is a coach stop.
Okay.
So there's not a lot to do there.
Right.
Now, once at the coach station, you need to wait for, it's an hour and 45 minutes for the next bus.
Well, that's not going to work, is it?
You're not loving this option, are you?
Not really.
Well, you can catch me on some sleep there if you
I mean, I
want.
could still be in bed at this point if I was taking my car.
Well, there is a bus that arrives, and it's the Stagecoach X5, and it will take you the 3.4 miles to get to the station. That costs a bargain at £3.40 for a Stagecoach bus ticket. So that's £1 a mile you're paying.
I feel like I'm at a fairground. £1 a mile, £1 a mile. How much do I owe you now?
£3.50.
What? Oh my goodness me.
Just for working even amounts here. Thank you.
I'm still doing better than I was before, though. Still quite a bit there.
It's better, but
Okay.
it's not the best.
We've only gone one way so far, haven't we?
But that will only take you to the centre end
Oh
place, so
my
you need another cab. So, Skyline again, another £5.
Wow. Skyline are doing well.
So, that will get you there. You'll be a little bit late for work, about 10 or 15 minutes.
I'm still late.
Because you've had an hour and a 45-minute break at the station.
Okay, a break, you call it. I like it. Okay.
You can read, catch up on your Instagram.
Is there a
take
nice nice warm area for me to sit in, is there? Fantastic, great. I bet it smells amazing as well.
Now, I've had a look into this. If you didn't want to wait for the bus, you could just go, do you know what, I'll get a cab straight from
Yeah, I
the
was thinking
coachway.
that, yeah.
That is probably the same amount
Yeah.
as getting the bus and the cab, so you're not any better off. But you save an hour and 45 minutes.
Okay,
You then get to work 2 hours early still.
okay. FYI, they don't pay you when you get in early.
So it's not really selling it for you
No.
either. But if we look at what it's cost you, we
Yeah.
can get you into work at 10, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17. I've worked it all out here, what did it tell me? About 16.70. So it's a little bit cheaper than getting the car, but you've got to leave work 6 hours before you start. Does it really sell it to you?
I mean,
You like your sleep, don't
I
you?
do like my sleep, but I'm thinking I just put all this money towards maybe a sleeping bag and just move into the studio.
I hadn't even considered that option. That's what I like, thinking outside the box.
Why?
I mean, ultimately, that's all the humour aside. Privatisation of the buses in the 80s and the rail in the 90s was supposed to encourage competition and drive down fares. However, while rail numbers have increased and prices have skyrocketed, as we can see from Emma's rail tickets, bus ridership has nosedived. What this has led to is massive monopolies with the big companies of Abellio, Arriva, First Group, Stagecoach and National Express. We have seen in part one of our documentary how 85% of profits have been leaked to shareholders. Rail has fared little better, with on average each rail franchise getting an annual public subsidy of around £50 million year on year. The GoAhead Group, as one example, reported revenues from both their UK bus and rail operation in 2018, and this is a number I'm going to struggle to say, 3,461 million, and they had a total operating profit of 135.9 million. These are very healthy profits that show this is not a market where the operators are struggling to make ends meet. Now, the point being of me coming out with all of that waffle and telling you all of these fascinating numbers is if I wanted to attract Emma to give up her car and use public transport, where is the incentive? I mean, be honest, is there anything I've said in all of that, selling those
No,
journeys?
it isn't. And do you know what else I was thinking as you were saying is we have, I feel, a responsibility to the environment as well these days. I don't want to be like smashing that amount of miles in the car, putting those fumes out. You know, if you're not giving people an option, you know, to do something cheaper and something that's better for the environment, then you know that's a bigger problem. Do you know what I mean? Not just on the cost of things, but the cost of you know, the future of our children and stuff like that as well. I just suddenly thought about that as you were saying it. You know?
Well, we all thought we said if you actually want to incentivise people to do something, you've got to make it more appealing.
Yeah.
And if straight away it's not appealing, why are people going to choose that option?
Yeah.
And they're not. I mean, what we have found is there's the people at the fringes of society that can least afford a car are forced onto these transport schemes and they can never get themselves out of poverty.
Yeah.
So a big thing we look towards is transport justice, trying to help people out of these situations by making the transport companies accountable and make sure that the transport meets the needs of the people who are using it.
Yeah.
So, boring stuff aside, and a traveller's tale, such as what we've listened to Emma here, then by all means, tell us in the comments below or tweet us directly at AB Commuters. Now, to end on a funny note, I have to ask Emma, what is your biggest pet peeve about travelling? If you have one thing you could snap your fingers and fix, what would
About
it be?
travelling by car or travelling on public transport?
Anyway, whatever it is that you use the most, if you had to say there's one thing I cannot stand that I wish I'd get rid of.
Oh come on, you know the answer to this. It's got to be speed restrictions. That's the worst thing. Those 50-mile-per-hour speed
Go
restrictions.
on forever.
Oh my god, forever. They are the worst. And if you're on a long commute, it's just like, oh, kill me now. Hate it.
But do you ever see anyone doing any work near them?
No. No, that's so true.
Why?
Why? Especially when it's like 3 in the morning. I'm like, why? Oh yeah, that would be my biggest pet peeve.
Okay, and positive note to end on,
Yeah.
if you had a song, an artist, or just a genre, who do you recommend as your travelling music, your
Oh.
favourite song?
God, that's a tough one because it depends on my mood. It depends on my mood. But if I'm honest, okay, it would be there's a song called Wishing Well by a kind of 70s, 80s rock band called Free. The same people that did that All Right Now. And they did a song called Wishing Well, and I just rock out to it in the car and sing it at the top of my lungs. And can't do that on the tube. So there you go, that would be my
It wasn't a
my
Wet, Wet,
song.
Wet song, was it?
No, I don't think so.
I remember this song from my
Which one
childhood.
are
I'm
yours
getting
about
some...
caught up in your wishing well?
That's the one
no,
I'm thinking of.
This one's very different. No Marty
Okay.
Pello on this one.
I will be Googling and YouTubing that later.
Yeah,
see
I
if
hope to
that's
hear you
worthwhile.
rocking out to it as well.
Well, we're all done. Thank you so much for your time, Emma.
No worries.
If anyone wants to follow Emma, if I can get the editing of this right, some links just below us for Instagram.
Thanks. Very nice.
Cheap like that.
No, I'm very expensive actually. I'm not cheap.
Forgive me, will Emma?
Thank you very much.
Thanks a lot,
Thanks for
Emma.
having me.